Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive.
Always great to be back.
Today we're going to be looking at how AI is transforming the hospitality industry.
Oh, that's an interesting one.
Yeah, it's whether you're a frequent traveler or enjoy dining out or just curious about tech,
Yeah.
this is going to be a pretty fascinating topic.
Okay, sure.
We're going to be looking at an article from the DX Today blog titled
Okay.
"The Future of Hospitality: How AI is Reshaping the Industry." It was published on October 24th, 2024. So today,
Hot off the press.
yeah, hot off the press. So, when we hear AI, a lot of people think about robots,
Yeah.
but it's a lot more than that.
Yeah. And it's interesting to think about, hospitality is an industry that's all about human connection, right?
Right.
So how does something as technical as AI actually fit into that?
Well, it's not about replacing humans, but it's about using algorithms to help,
Yeah.
create these more efficient, personalized experiences.
It's like having a really efficient staff member that nobody can see, right?
Right, exactly.
Working behind the scenes to make everything run smoothly for the guests.
So like they said in the article, one of the things is machine learning.
Yeah, that's a big one.
So how would machine learning kind of fit into hospitality?
Well, think about it. AI can analyze huge amounts of data, like really huge. And it can help us to understand patterns and, almost make predictions about what a guest might want, maybe even before they even realize it themselves.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So that's kind of a cool idea.
Yeah. So let's say in a hotel, one of the things that the article talks about is AI being used to handle customer inquiries through chatbots.
Okay.
How does that actually work? How would that look in a real hotel?
Well, imagine you've just gotten off a really long flight, right? You're tired.
Yeah.
And you get to the hotel and there's this huge line at the front desk. But instead of having to wait in that line, you can just pull out your phone and use a chatbot, right?
Okay.
Ask it questions about the hotel. Where's the gym? What time is breakfast served? Are there any cool things to do around here?
Right.
And it can also, maybe even help you book a reservation at the hotel restaurant.
That's amazing.
So it just, makes things so much more convenient.
Okay, so that's really convenient. But what about people who actually want to talk to a real person?
Well, that's where the human element is still so important, right?
Right.
So AI can take care of those routine tasks, like answering basic questions, checking people in, whatever it is.
Yeah.
That frees up the hotel staff to actually focus on more complex interactions.
Right.
So they can spend more time getting to know the guests, anticipating their needs, and really, creating those memorable moments that make a stay special.
So it's almost like enhancing the human touch, not replacing it.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So how does AI actually go about personalizing these guest experiences? It's not like it can read our minds.
Well, not yet anyway, but AI algorithms can analyze a ton of data about a guest. So booking history, their preferences, maybe even their social media activity.
Oh, wow.
And any interactions they've had with the hotel's website or app.
So it's like building this profile.
Yeah, it's building this detailed profile.
For each guest, and then they use that information to create a tailored experience.
Exactly.
What would that actually look like? Can you give me an example?
Yeah, so let's say you're a business traveler and you stay at a particular hotel chain a lot.
Right.
The AI can track your preferences, like what type of room you prefer, what kind of amenities you like, maybe even what you order for breakfast.
Really?
So the next time you check in, your preferred room could be ready for you. It's stocked with all the things you like.
That's amazing.
And maybe even, they have your favorite breakfast all set for you in the morning.
Wow. So it's like having a personal butler.
It's like having a personal butler. And, it goes beyond just these basic preferences.
Yeah.
AI can also use this data to recommend activities or experiences that are aligned with your interests. So let's say you booked tickets to a museum or a concert during a previous stay. The AI might suggest similar events that are happening during your next visit.
So it's like having a personal concierge in your pocket.
It's anticipating your needs.
Yeah.
It might even give you suggestions you haven't even thought of.
Right.
And this level of personalization can really enhance the guest experience. It makes people feel valued and understood.
That's great. But with all this data, isn't there some privacy concerns?
Well, that's definitely a valid concern. And the article actually does acknowledge that hotels need to be very transparent with their guests about how they're using their data and make sure that they have robust security measures in place to protect that information.
So it's about finding that balance between personalization and privacy.
Exactly.
Okay. So moving beyond like the individual guest experience, the article talks about how AI impacts the operational side.
Right.
Of things like in a hotel.
Yeah.
What's this thing called predictive analytics?
So predictive analytics, that's pretty cool. Imagine a hotel being able to anticipate like fluctuations in demand. So they can optimize staffing levels, maybe adjust room rates, and even, their energy consumption.
So like if AI predicts that there's going to be a huge surge in bookings for a particular weekend.
Yeah.
The hotel can make sure that they have enough staff on hand.
Right, exactly.
When adjust pricing.
To make sure they can handle it, right? And also maybe even prepare for, increased energy usage because you're going to have a lot more people in the hotel.
And what if like there's an event, like a major event that gets canceled and there's a predicted drop in bookings?
Yeah.
Can AI help then?
Absolutely. It can help them avoid unnecessary costs by maybe reducing staffing levels a bit, lowering room rates, and, scaling back their energy consumption because they know they're not going to need as much.
So it's like a crystal ball that helps them make better decisions.
It's like a crystal ball.
And run their operations more efficiently.
Yeah. It's all about making smarter decisions.
Right.
And using data to really optimize how things are run.
Yeah. So it's not just about making it easier for the guest, but it's also about making the entire hotel run smoothly and efficiently.
Yeah. And that efficiency can then trickle down, right?
Okay.
So you have cost savings for the hotel. Maybe they can offer more competitive pricing or even reinvest those savings into guest-facing services.
So it's a win-win for both the hotel and the guests.
That's one way to look at it, for sure.
Right.
But, like with any technology, we do have to think about the downsides. There are potential downsides and ethical considerations as well.
And that is a perfect segue into the next part of our deep dive.
Oh, good.
But before we get to that, let's just quickly recap what we've learned. AI is already making huge waves in the hospitality industry.
Yeah, it's really incredible how much it's already being used.
It's going from automating customer service tasks to personalizing those guest experiences.
Yeah.
And even optimizing how the hotels are actually operated.
Right. And the key takeaway is that it's not about replacing humans. It's about, working with them, right? Augmenting their capabilities.
Yeah.
And really creating this more seamless and enjoyable experience for everyone involved.
Exactly. All right. So now let's dive into the kind of the more complex and potentially controversial aspects of AI in hospitality.
Okay.
When we come back, we'll be exploring some of the challenges and ethical considerations of this rapidly evolving technology. So, stay tuned.
Sounds good.
Welcome back. We were just talking about how AI is being used in hotels, but there's so much more to it. What are some other cool examples of AI in action?
Well, one area that's really interesting is food and beverage.
Okay.
Some restaurants are experimenting with AI-powered robots
to
automate things like food prep and even cocktail mixing.
Robot bartenders. That sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie.
I know, right? Yeah. But it's becoming a reality. These robots can follow precise recipes, so you get consistent quality every time.
Right.
And it actually frees up the human bartenders to focus on more creative things, like maybe crafting, a unique cocktail experience.
Oh, okay. So instead of just like mixing a standard margarita, the human bartender could be developing this whole signature cocktail menu.
Exactly.
And the robot can kind of take care of those high-volume standardized drinks.
Yeah, it's all about, working together. And this isn't just limited to cocktails.
Okay.
You can have robots in the kitchen, automating repetitive tasks like chopping vegetables, flipping burgers, even plating dishes.
So that would be a game changer for restaurants.
Yeah, especially, restaurants that are having a hard time finding staff.
Right.
Keeping their kitchen staff,
And wouldn't that also help with consistency?
Absolutely. And food safety too, right?
Right.
Robots can work in these very controlled environments.
Yeah.
Reduce the risk of contamination and, every dish is prepared to the same standard.
That's reassuring, especially when it's your favorite dish.
Exactly.
But what about the dining experience itself? Can AI play a role there?
Definitely.
Yeah.
We were talking about AI and personalization earlier.
Yeah.
Some restaurants are actually taking that even further.
Okay.
They're using AI to create interactive dining experiences.
Interactive dining. What's that?
So imagine you sit down at your table, and instead of a traditional menu, you have this digital menu that can adapt to your dietary restrictions, your preferences, even your mood.
How does it know my mood?
Well, AI is pretty smart, but maybe not that smart yet. But it can, offer wine pairings, suggest alternative dishes, even give you information about where the ingredients come from and how sustainable they are.
So it's like a super personalized menu.
Yeah, it's all about creating that unique experience for each diner.
That's pretty neat. But what about the social aspect of dining?
Yeah.
Like, some people might feel a little bit isolated interacting with a screen instead of, like, a human waiter.
I get that. But again, the goal is not to replace human interaction.
Okay.
It's to enhance it. So the waiter is still very much involved.
Okay.
They can guide you through the digital menu, answer your questions, offer recommendations.
So it's more of like a collaborative effort.
Exactly. You've got the AI and the human working together to create this really informative and engaging and hopefully satisfying dining experience.
Okay, so it's not just about the food, it's the whole experience.
Right, exactly. And even the ambiance, the atmosphere can be influenced by AI. Yeah, like imagine a restaurant that has smart lighting.
Okay.
And it adjusts based on the time of day or the occasion.
Yep.
Maybe it's a romantic setting for a date night.
Oh, that's a cool idea.
Or it's more lively for a birthday party,
So AI can really make it more immersive and memorable.
Absolutely. And it's not just lighting. Some restaurants are using AI-powered sound systems.
Oh, wow.
So the music can adjust based on the crowd.
Okay.
The time of day.
Yeah.
Even a noise level in the restaurant.
So no more, like, jarring transitions from soft jazz to blaring pop music.
Exactly. You want to create that perfect, harmonious dining environment.
Right. And all of this isn't just for high-end restaurants, is it?
No, not at all. AI has the potential to transform the entire industry.
Yeah.
From fast food chains to budget-friendly hotels,
That's an important point. It shouldn't just be for luxury establishments.
Right.
It should be something that makes travel and dining
accessible.
more accessible and enjoyable for everyone.
For everyone. Exactly. And while we've been talking a lot about, what the guests see and experience, AI is also doing a lot behind the scenes.
Right. Like we were talking about earlier.
Yeah. Remember predictive analytics?
Yeah. How it can help hotels forecast demand and kind of optimize their operations.
Well, that same technology can also be used to make the industry more sustainable.
Oh, okay. So how can AI make hotels and restaurants more eco-friendly?
Well, for example, energy consumption is a huge expense for hotels.
Right.
AI can analyze data from all sorts of sensors throughout the building to optimize the heating and cooling systems, the lighting.
Okay.
It can even adjust these systems based on real-time occupancy, so energy is only being used when and where it's needed.
So like if a guest leaves their room, the AI can automatically adjust the temperature and the lights to conserve energy.
Yeah, and it's not just about individual rooms. It can manage the entire building, taking into account things like weather conditions, time of day, upcoming events.
So it's really looking at the big picture.
It's looking at the big picture, trying to be as efficient as possible.
So AI can make a big difference in reducing a hotel's carbon footprint.
Absolutely. And it's not just energy. It can also help reduce water usage.
Yeah.
AI-powered irrigation systems can analyze weather patterns, soil moisture levels, and really optimize those watering schedules for the landscaping.
So it's all about using data to make smarter decisions and reduce waste.
Exactly. And AI can even help with food waste, which is a big problem in the industry.
Right.
AI can analyze past purchasing patterns, consumption patterns, predict how much food they're going to need, so they can order the right amount and reduce spoilage.
So it's helping hotels become more efficient and responsible.
Exactly. They become better stewards of our resources, which is good for the environment and good for their bottom line.
And that's becoming really important to a lot of travelers nowadays.
Absolutely. Yeah. Especially, younger generations. They're very environmentally conscious.
Right.
So hotels that embrace these AI-powered sustainability solutions, they're not only reducing their environmental impact, but they're also appealing to a growing segment of travelers.
Yeah. It's a smart business move, and it's the right thing to do.
It's a win-win.
Yeah. Wow, this has been a fascinating look at AI in the hospitality industry.
It really is incredible, right?
It's transforming everything from customer service to, like, the back-end operations and helping them become more sustainable.
And as AI technology keeps evolving, we can only imagine what's coming next.
Yeah, it's a really exciting time to be following this. But, with all the amazing possibilities, we have to remember that AI is not a magic solution.
That's right. There are definitely some challenges and potential risks that we need to think about.
We've been talking about all these amazing things AI can do for hospitality.
Yeah.
But, any powerful tool, it has to be used responsibly, right?
Absolutely.
There are challenges and potential risks. So what are some of those that we need to be thinking about?
Well, one of the biggest ones is the impact on jobs.
Yeah.
As AI starts to automate more tasks, there's that worry that people are going to lose their jobs.
Right. That makes sense. What can be done to kind of address that?
Well, it's important to remember it's not about replacing humans.
Right.
It's about figuring out how humans and AI can work together.
Okay.
So the focus should really be on retraining and upskilling workers so they can take on roles that require those uniquely human skills. Things like creativity, problem solving, critical thinking.
Right. So instead of looking at AI as a threat, we should look at it as an opportunity to create these new and more fulfilling roles.
Exactly. For example, instead of having a staff member spend hours putting together data reports, AI could do that. And then that frees up the staff member to focus on building relationships with guests or, developing those personalized experiences that we were talking about.
Right. So AI can handle those tedious tasks and let humans focus on the things that they're good at.
Exactly. That's the idea.
Okay. So besides jobs, what other challenges are there?
Well, we also have to make sure that these AI systems are being developed and used ethically.
Okay. What does that look like in the context of hospitality?
Well, think about data privacy, for example.
Yeah.
Hotels are collecting so much data about their guests these days.
Right.
And it's really important that they're handling that data responsibly and transparently.
Right.
Guests need to know what data is being collected, how it's being used, and what steps are being taken to protect their privacy.
So transparency is key.
Yeah, transparency is key.
Guests need to feel confident that their data is being used ethically and securely.
Absolutely. And, it's not just about protecting guest data. It's about making sure the AI systems themselves are designed and implemented in a fair and unbiased way.
Okay, what do you mean by that? Can you give me an example?
Yeah, let's say a hotel is using an AI system to decide how to assign rooms.
Okay.
Well, that system needs to be designed so that it doesn't accidentally discriminate against certain groups of guests.
Right. It shouldn't prioritize certain guests over others based on how much they spend or their loyalty status or anything like that.
Exactly.
Right. Okay.
It should be fair and equitable for everyone.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's important to be really mindful of those potential biases that could be built into the system.
Absolutely. And that means we need to constantly be monitoring these AI systems.
Right.
Auditing them, making sure that they're operating the way they're supposed to.
It's not like you just set it and forget it.
No, you can't just set it and forget it. You need to pay attention.
All right. You need to be vigilant and pay attention to the details.
Exactly. And I think it's also important to remember that AI is just a tool.
Yeah.
Like any tool, it can be used for good or for bad.
Right.
It all comes down to human intention and responsibility.
It really does. Well, this has been an incredible journey exploring the world of AI and hospitality.
It has been fascinating.
Yeah, we've seen how it's enhancing guest experiences, streamlining operations, and making hotels more sustainable.
Yeah, and I think as AI continues to evolve,
yeah,
we're going to see even more exciting developments in the years to come.
It really is an exciting time for the industry, but like you said, it's important to remember that with great power comes great responsibility.
That's right.
We need to make sure that we're using this technology in a way that benefits everyone.
Absolutely.
So businesses, policymakers, and consumers, we all need to work together to make sure that AI is a force for good in the hospitality industry.
I agree.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the fascinating world of AI and hospitality.
It's been a pleasure.
Until next time, keep exploring and stay curious.